So we're going to do a number of unit conversions today. We're going to start with 3.41 grams of calcium carbonate. And we want to convert this to moles of calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate, active ingredient in chalk, also the active ingredient in shells. So if you go to the beach and start hunting for shells, you essentially are looking at very beautifully arranged structures of calcium carbonate. First step, we need to find the molar mass of calcium carbonate. So you can use the app for this purpose. You can use the periodic table and a calculator for this purpose. But briefly, the mass of calcium is 40.078. The mass of carbon is 12.011. And the mass of oxygen is 15.9994. And we have 3 of those. So when we actually compute this, we find that it is 100.1 grams per mole. That means now we have a conversion factor that we can use for this problem. 100.1 grams of calcium carbonate is equal to 1 mole of calcium carbonate. And we're going to use that conversion factor to convert from grams to moles. So we have 3.41 grams of calcium carbonate. And we know that 100.1 grams of calcium carbonate is equal to 1 mole of calcium carbonate. Essentially, I'm multiplying by 1. Since 1 mole is equal to 100.1 grams of calcium carbonate, I'm multiplying by 1. And in the process, I'm changing the unit and I'm changing the number. So since this bottom number is so close to 100, we could say 0.0341 moles of calcium carbonate. We could also say 3.41 times 10 to the minus 2 moles of calcium carbonate. These answers are equivalent and would suffice as the correct response. So one other example that's very similar to the first one, I have 1.157 grams of sodium sulfate. And I know that 1 mole of sodium sulfate is 142.042 grams of sodium sulfate. So grams of sodium sulfate cancels. So once we simplify this expression, we get 0.001105 moles. Since this is on the order of 10 to the minus 3, we should use scientific notation. So the final answer should be 1.11 times 10 to the minus 3 moles. So now let's look at the reverse reaction, the opposite calculation. Let's say that I have 1.50 times 10 to the minus 4 moles of glucose, C6H12O6. and I want to find the grams of glucose. Again, C6H12O6. We can calculate the molar mass, and the molar mass for a professional chemist like myself, I would just call that 180 grams per mole. So the conversion will start with what I know, 1.50 times 10 to the minus 4 moles, and then 1 mole is 180 grams of glucose. Notice when I go from moles to grams, I multiply by the molar mass. But when I go from grams to moles, I divide by the molar mass. And of course, moles will cancel. And now all I have to do is to simplify this expression. So when I simplify the expression, I get 2.7 times 10 to the minus 2 grams.